Appreciate that very much.
Sure.
And Sue, I'll tell you what, let's start out with the city council is extending a TIF in the community. Give us the details on this, and we'll dive in more from there.
Okay. Well, we have what's called TIF 2, and it's in the southwest part of town. And TIFs run 23 years, but you can extend them for an additional 12. And we are doing that. And so we had a public hearing last night. We had a few people attend to ask some questions. So I figured maybe we could just touch on it in case anybody else has questions.
Sure. Well, the TIF district itself, where is it? And how about those things? Just what's the basics on this TIF district?
Okay. It was started back in 99, 2000, and it's in the southwest part of town. We have Prairie Ridge subdivision out there, and that was one of the reasons they created it. It was also created to help with, we have a lot of drainage issues in that area of town. And so over the years, obviously, we built the subdivision, and then we've been working on improving the drainage. And so we wanted to extend it because we'd like to continue some of that work. We're trying to improve the infrastructure in that area, runs along Route 54 and then part of the residential area of the southwest part of town.
So you held a hearing recently, Sue. Tell us a little bit about what you heard from those that came out. What kind of questions did they have about this?
I think there was some concern about how TIF works. There was concern that their taxes were going to go up, and that's not how TIF works. And so we kind of tried to explain that. I think they were also curious to see what we were going to be using the money on. And so, as I just touched on, infrastructure and, of course, redevelopment in the district. We provide business grants if businesses want to improve their property, that sort of thing.
Sure. Well, talk a little bit about how a TIF district works, Sue. And a lot of people kind of view it as a tax increase, but from what I understand, it's more of a tax replacement, if you will. How does it work? And don't be afraid to kind of dive into the weeds a little bit, because we can go from there.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if you own property, you pay property tax, and those taxes go to all the different districts. Your school, your county, your city, parks. Well, we don't have a park district, but fire district, library, that kind of thing. So when TIF is implemented in an area, if you live in that area, if your property value goes up, you're going to pay more tax. That's just, whether you have a TIF or not. But if there's a TIF and you're paying more tax, that difference in the increase all goes into the TIF fund to then be reinvested into that district.
Right.
And I think some people think, oh, my taxes are going to go up. You're only going to go up if you improve the value of your property.
Right.
And you'd do that if you even didn't have TIF.
Sure.
And then we use that money to reinvest to then increase the EAV even further. And then when the TIF expires, that fund goes away, and then all that money that you're paying in taxes then gets redistributed to all the taxing districts again.
Sure. So basically,
they actually benefit from it.
I was going to say, so basically where you live benefits from your property value going up.
Right. And so do the taxing districts. I mean, all the taxing districts have agreed with this extension because they believe in what it's doing and that it's working and that the EAV is going to improve, which then they all benefit from when it expires.
So over the 23 years of this TIF, Sue, what has been some of the highlights of the things you've been able to do to improve that portion of the community?
Oh, gosh. Well, obviously, the first thing is that they built the subdivision. So we have, I don't even remember. I don't think I've ever counted. Maybe, more than 30 homes out there. Maybe 50, maybe more. Anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I've never counted. But anyway, so we have the new subdivision, and then we put a lot of stormwater pipes in the ground to help drain that area because there was always a lot of flooding going on. And so I think that's been a great improvement all over. And then we've redone some streets, we've redone some water mains, some sewer, sidewalk work. So we've done a lot of improvements. And then on top of that, we have businesses that have taken advantage of TIF grants, whether they want to repave their parking lot or put in a new roof. We have a lot of businesses that have taken advantage of that.
Sure. Now, when it comes to, the business side of that, you just touched on, they can tap into those dollars for improvements. And I'm not sure if all TIFs work this way, but if I'm not mistaken, isn't there like the city picks up a portion of it, the business has to commit a little bit of that money as well. But how about from the homeowner's perspective? Do they get much of a say in terms of where those dollars go, what they need to be used for? How about that side of this?
Well, unfortunately, TIF isn't generally used for residential because let's say you put on a new roof, your value is not really going to increase, which is the goal of TIF is to increase the value of property.
Right.
So that's not usually used on residential unless it's a specific residential TIF. There has been some discussion though to help some of the less advantaged, if they have some real difficulties with their properties, but
Mm-hmm.
we haven't touched on that yet, but we are discussing it.
So I guess I worded that question kind of poorly, so I'll try it again. And I apologize for that, Sue. But so I guess my question was like I understand the residents themselves can't tap into that for improvements on their homes, but in terms of maybe the projects that happen around them, you talked about storm sewers or maybe improvements to sidewalks. Like, do you engage the residents to say, hey, we've got funding available through the TIF that you pay into? What do you view as a priority in the neighborhood you would like to see maybe that money go towards? Does that help a little bit, I guess?
Yes, yes, I understand what you're saying. And we do collect information. We did a survey a long time ago when I first came about 5 years ago, getting people's input on things they'd like to see. And we've tried to do that here and there, not officially or formally, but when people call and say, hey, we've really got an issue here, we try to take that into account each year that we decide what projects are we going to do. Um, whether it's because there are lead service lines going into a water main or the street that these people live on is just really falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Those kinds of things,
Right.
We do take into account.
And I venture a guess there's probably overlap in what the city identifies as a target area and probably what residents see as a target area as well.
There can be. I mean, there can be overlays, or they can be, totally different. But I do hope that people that have seen some of the improvements, think that those were good decisions. But yes, we're always open to getting input.
What else did you hear from residents that came out the other night, Sue, to talk about this?
Some more simple questions. Prairie Ridge doesn't have a sign, an entrance sign saying, this is Prairie Ridge subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
There was interest in maybe looking at getting assistance with that, which is something that we could do. I also we just put in a playground, and we are going to be repaving the parking lot there.
Mm-hmm.
We did have questions just about like how much the TIF is generating. This year we're slated to get about 375,000. And so, but we use almost all of that. Infrastructure is costly.
Certainly is. Yeah, it definitely is. And so when it comes to just, how much you've been able to pour back into that area, any estimates, Sue, as to what that TIF has generated and you've put back into that area over the years?
Well, I think the EAV is improved I think it started at about 1.6 from the first time that we really evaluated it in 2004. It was 1.6 million. Now this area is worth over 3.8 million.
Oh, wow. Gotcha.
And we've been getting, like I said, about on average of around 3 to 350 per year.
Sure.
So it's definitely been doing its work.
Now, is there regulation on, can you build that fund up for big projects? Do you have to spend a certain amount of it in a given year? Like from the city side of things, are there regulations on how you can handle that money?
There are regulations, obviously, how we can spend it. But yes, we can save up over a couple of years for a larger, project, as long as you make it clear that that's what you're doing, and we try to say that in our budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously what qualifies for TIF. There was a question actually last night about how do you determine, using it on public or private, projects?
Right. Yeah.
And when a TIF is adopted, you have to adopt a portion of that budget over the life of the TIF that you're going to invest in public infrastructure.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yes, you do have to, invest in infrastructure. So we always make sure that that's what we do.
Definitely. How much has that helped improve that business area in that TIF district?
I think it's done a lot. We've done quite a few, and even before my time, I'd have to look back, but I know that a lot of businesses, especially like along 54, took advantage of, different things, whether it was parking lots or, facade improvements or roofing. So I think they have taken good advantage of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like that kind of corridor you're talking about. I mean, the businesses in that area, they have excellent storefronts from my perspective. So they've certainly helped. They probably have helped to improve their visuals, at least from that perspective.
Yeah, and other areas have taken advantage too, because we have another TIF district. It's called the Forward TIF, Forward Farmer City. And when TIFs are contiguous, you can kind of interchange the funds. And Forward TIF is only a couple of years old, so there's not very much money in it. So we've been able to tap into the TIF 2 funds, helping businesses in the Forward TIF area, so it's worked very well both that way too.
I didn't know you could do that. That's kind of an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah, well, it's been very helpful, because without it, the Forward TIF wouldn't be able to start helping businesses probably for another couple of years.
Right. Yeah, so and how long?
Great.
So, I'm sorry, finish that
Go
up.
ahead.
I was going to ask how long does it take for a TIF to build up to where it's usable? You can tap into those dollars and start benefiting your community.
It usually takes a few years. I think it depends on the investment in the community, because obviously it's as the EAV grows. And one benefit we had was we instituted the Forward TIF, and then Dollar General built their new building. So that gave us an instant influx, but it's not very much. I think this year there's only about $50,000 in it.
I see.
But over time we're hoping it'll grow, but it does take a few years.
Very good. Very good. Well, Sue, I can't believe it. We're at a point we need a timeout. What did I miss in that conversation you want to put out there for us?
Nothing. Just please feel free to call City Hall if you have questions. I think it is going to be a good way to continue to invest in the city.
Sue McLaughlin, manager of Farmer City, our guest on the phone. More to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Illinois Ag Better. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans slightly higher. Chicago wheat trading higher. December corn 674.5 down 1 1/4. March corn down 1 1/4, 680 1/4. May corn 680 1/4 down 1 3/4. November beans up 3 1/4, 1443 1/4. January beans up 2 3/4, 1453. March beans 1460.5 up 2.5. December Chicago wheat up 7.5, 853 1/4. March wheat up 6 3/4. 870 3/4. December bean meal up 370, 422.70. December bean oil down 21 cents, 76.12. In the livestock market, November feeders 178.15, down 7 cents. December live cattle down 27 cents, 152.77. December lean hogs 85.70, down $1.35. In the energy market, December crude oil 91.18, down 61 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
A sports injury takes the fun out of sports any time of year. Hi, I'm Paul Scarron, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. All of our PT folks are trained in lots of specialties, just like a bigger facility, to get you back in the game from a sports injury, or if you're in need of any other physical therapy your doctor prescribes. We offer quality, compassionate care close to home, so don't go out of town. Come see us at the Warner Hospital and Health Services Physical Therapy Department, and we'll get you back in the game.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Sue McLaughlin is my guest on the phone today. She's the manager of Farmer City. Sue, let's talk about energy efficiency upgrades and an opportunity for the city to help out in that effort. What's going on here?
Yeah, I wanted to let the community know that we have energy efficiency grants available. Every year we get so much money from IMEA, of which we're a member, and it's available for companies to apply. We've had Maxwell Counters, Next Generation, Walker Tire, McKinley Water. They've all come in and received grants to change their LED lights, their interior lights to LED.
Mm-hmm.
To make them more energy efficient. And we have over $10,000 available for different, grants. So we have usually, we've had a couple that are only $2,000 or $5,000. So when you think we have over 10, we could probably give at least a couple of grants.
Gotcha.
And that expires next April. So we'd like to get that out there into the community.
So how does a business or otherwise, how do they take advantage of this?
Yeah, they can go to, they can contact us, and then we can walk them through the process. They can also check out information on imea.org/EE incentives.
Very good.
So it's pretty easy to kind of look into and how it all works.
All right. Now, how did the city come to find this grant money, or is it just available to every municipality?
It's available to every municipality that belongs to IMEA, the Municipal Electric Agency. It's
Gotcha.
a cooperative, and each year every city that belongs to it gets so many funds based on their size.
I see. Very good. So again, Sue, how do folks get a hold of you to talk about that opportunity?
Yeah, 309-928-3412. Or my email is smclaughlin@cityoffarmercity.org.
Sue McLaughlin is the manager of Farmer City, our guest on the phone for this morning. And Sue, in our final moments together, let's just highlight what's going on in the community. What's Christmas time? I'm sure you're starting to think about those things. Anything else going on beyond Christmas preparation?
Yeah, we are super excited. So, we have the Christmas parade. It's November 20th at 2 o'clock. It goes through downtown Farmer City. And this year we have our first annual Christmas tree lighting. So we're going to have the Santa's house, and he's going to be there. And then he's going to come over and help our parade grand marshal and King and Miss Merry Christmas do the annual tree lighting. And we're going to have hot chocolate and cookies. And that's at dusk after the parade on November 20th. And we're decorating the out of downtown this year. It was a little sad last year, we admit, and we are not going to do a Charlie Brown Christmas this year. So crews are working on it, and it's going to look great.
Awesome. Very good. So look forward to that. And Christmas is right around the corner. Can't believe we're already there, Sue. Hard to believe when, it's 70 degrees and nice outside these days. So
yeah, well, and that's why some people are probably like, boy, isn't this early? But our crews wanted to kind of do it, take advantage of the nicer weather this week.
That makes a lot of sense. Very good. What else is going on in the community, Sue?
Well, we had some pretty windy days recently, and so we're offering GFL Disposal is going to be doing their free leaf pickup this Thursday, the 10th, and next Thursday, the 17th. You just have to have it in a biodegradable bag and put it on the curb by 6 a.m., and we'll pick those leaves up for you.
All right. So do they just get those to the curb, or how does that work?
Yeah, you just got to put them on the curb, just like the garbage, but by 6 a.m., please. And
yeah.
But yeah, we'll do that over the next couple. And I guess someone asked about storm damage yesterday because it was pretty windy. And so if anybody has any, limbs that they've lost and they want to pile those up, the city will be picking up, brush the last Wednesday of this month.
Now, does the city do brush leaf pickup on its own? How does that work? What does the city do there?
Well, they do. Again, they still have to be bagged, but mostly we do yard waste is what we call it, sticks and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And so if there are, some bad leaves, we'll probably pick those up as well.
I see.
In Wednesday, but then that's it till probably March.
All right. Yeah. Then getting that time where we got to get those leaves out. My wife was on me a little bit over the weekend about when we're going to blow ours around. And I've got 4 or 5 trees in my yard. So I really want them all. I just want them all down and then I'll do it all at once. So
right.
Usually spend an afternoon doing that. But at any rate, Sue, I look at the clock. We are quickly running out of time. What did I miss with you today you'd like to put out there for us?
Nothing. I just really want to get out that November 20th. Come downtown, see the parade, see the tree lighting, visit Santa.
Mhm.
It'll be a good day.
Awesome. Very good. Now, where do folks go to keep up with all the things happening in Farmer City? Is there a website, Facebook page? What's the best way to get info?
Yes, probably the best way is the city's Facebook page, City of Farmer City. But we also put things on the website. But yeah, the Facebook page is the best.
Excellent. Well, Sue, like I said, our final minutes together, City Council, will they be taking up anything of interest over the next month in the time that we catch up?
It's actually going to be pretty quiet. I mean, we usually have our property tax levy. We'll discuss getting ready for budget, for the next year. But the auditors are here right now, looking at the books, and so it'll just be kind of some year-end business.
Now, what is the fiscal year for Farmer City? When does it run?
That's May 1st through April 30th.
Okay, gotcha.
So we start budget prep. I start budget prep in January, get the staff involved in February, and then the first draft goes out to the council in March.
All right, very good. So spending those, what do they call them, winter doldrums or whatnot, doing budget things, all the exciting stuff, right?
Right.
Sue, it's always good to have you on the program. We appreciate you making time with us. Sue McLaughlin is the manager for Farmer City, our guest on the phone. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.